Warren Fiscal Court, Friday, October 21st, 2022 is now called to order. We'll welcome all of you all, and certainly want to welcome Esquire Doug Gorman, who's offering prayer this morning and will lead us in the pledge immediately following.
Bow with me, Father. Thank you so much for this day, this abundant sunshine that you've provided, Lord, that just brings hope to each and every one of us, Lord. The beautiful fall colors, all your creation and all the things that we do, we should give you glory, Lord. I would just ask that you be with this court as we conduct the business of the county, be with the citizens of Warren County, Lord, and continue to bless them. Just have our words, actions, and deeds be pleasing to you this weekend and all weekends, Lord. We're just so thankful for the gift of living in Warren County. Help us to continue to bless you with our actions. We ask all these things in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Here.
Esquire Young.
Here.
Esquire Payne.
Here.
Esquire Cummings.
Here.
Esquire Gorman.
Here.
We need to approve the minutes of the fiscal court meeting of October 10th, 2022. Motion by Esquire Young, second by Esquire Cummings. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And now, if there are no objections, Jason Heflin is here with us from Crowd South, and he's here to update us on BG Bowling Green Works program and our successes and where we're going with it.
Good morning. I have a presentation that I had sent forward, but I've got a printout as well that I'll... I've got a few more here too, Doug.
Thank you, Thank you, Joe.
Well, thank you. I'm going to give you a brief update. We've been cranking away at this for almost 10 months now, continuing to make progress and improve the numbers a little bit every month. So I'm pretty happy about that. We've been coordinating with the workforce board regionally. We've been coordinating with the Chamber of Commerce, as well as individual employers. We're also working directly with some of the larger employers that are moving into the region, which will be staffing up soon. So we're kind of doing some predictive modeling on what's going to be needed in the year to come. So this is about next year's contract. What are we looking at? What do we need? What's the issue we're trying to tackle? The first slide there is the roadmap. That's what I've shown you in the other meetings that I've been present at. As you see, we moved along to this October to December time frame. This is where we will continue running the campaign, measuring the effectiveness, and continuing to prepare for next year. So closing in on the end of this year in this contract and moving into the next. The next page is the results, the most important page in the presentation, as you'd imagine. So far, we've collected a total of 4,290 applications through the program. 115 total employers have signed up for the program. The majority of those are in Warren County. A few outside, like Logan Aluminum, are participating as well regionally. We've had 32,550 people visit the website to date. And currently, among the employers that we poll all the employers to find out how many of these applications they're hiring. And currently, that average sits at 35% among the employers that are participating. So of those 115, they're hiring about 35% of the applicants that they get on average. And that varies per industry. And then of that, 1,501 hires that local employers have made through the program. So, and I say we're 10 months into it, but the first 2 months were a lot of build up, building the assets, building the website and so forth. So really that's an 8-month, those numbers represent about 8 months of running the campaign. So what does 2023 look like? That's where it gets a little fuzzy and a little challenging. We do know there are some very large employers moving into the region, a few of which are hiring 1,000 or more. So we know that that's going to really affect this campaign. Right now, we can project roughly this campaign, if it continues running as efficiently as it is, about 1,700 hires next year. We have about a little over 8,000 open positions currently, and we're looking at 3,000 plus next year alone to add to that. So, and that plus is a big mystery. It could be 4, it could be 5, we don't know. So that's why I come before you today to bring you the new contract. In the contract, there's a line item for with a request for additional funding. That funding is for outreach spend, or ad spend as we call it in our industry. It's really working with newspapers, billboard companies, social media, Google, YouTube, any of the channels that we use to promote the campaign, they require spend. So it's asking for more fuel, so we can try to take that projected 1,700 number of hires and push it up above 2,000. Really make a dent. It's the old adage, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, because every time we hire one, we get a few new open positions we've got to fill. So it's been a little bit of a challenge in that way, but everyone involved is really happy with it. I spoke with our Ron Bunch at the Chamber recently. He was very pleased that the numbers have continued to stay steady. We held an employer summit this past year. We'd like to do that again in early 2023. Now that we have more participants, we'd like to drive more participants to the program. That event essentially was an educational event where the Workforce Board, the Chamber, and my organization, we came together and we talked about ways we can help employers to solve the problem. We're never going to solve it, of course. You're never going to solve the unemployment problem, but we want to keep it down as low as possible and help these new employers that are moving into the community. So that moves to recommendations. Stay the course with the digital focus. We do traditional, meaning billboards, newspapers, radio, that sort of thing. We do all that, but the younger generation is who we're really targeting here to drive them into the workforce, and they're on the digital platforms. So that's where we've seen the most success, and we can measure it. So we can take those, we can see the numbers, we see how it works, we can tweak it and adjust it and improve it. I want to increase, like I mentioned, I want to increase employer signups. 115 sounds great in some ways, but we have many, many more employers in this community who need to be participating. We want to update the website with a few new features that we've been talking to some of our partners with. Again, the Chamber and the Workforce Board being two of the larger ones. They have some ideas that they want to incorporate, so we'd like to work on that in 2023. We want to focus on some of the surrounding regions and states. We've started to do that recently and had some success. We also do a lot of targeted campaigns. So one good example is Hawesville. When Hawesville closed their Century aluminum plant, there were a lot of unemployed people, hundreds of people suddenly, and that's a very small community. So we targeted digital ads to that community and started driving applications from, when they're in their moment of need. So that's one of the things that we can do. We've done it in Tennessee as well when we see large facility shutdowns. So working in coordination with the Workforce Board, they see those and hear those things. Other people in our circles hear those things. And as soon as we hear about them, we start building ads toward that. So it's broad in the sense that we're focusing on surrounding regions. It's also very tightly focused in those kind of efforts. So we want to do more and more of that. We want to continue to grow and deepen those strategic partnerships I mentioned. And I'll also mention the schools. The schools have been great to work with. We recently did a bus driver campaign for the county schools. and we'd like to do more of that. Those schools can't run without buses running. So when they raise their hand and say we need some help, we can say, yeah, well, let's use this program, let's use these dollars. We want to increase the spend so we can increase that number. Again, that 1,700, I like that number, but I'd like it to be 2,000 or 3,000. I want to push that up. Also, some traditional outreach outside of our region. So that may be in the form of television commercials, it may be in the form of print media. And then again, I want to host another summit. I want to draw more employers. I want to move that 115 number up significantly in the next year. Personally, I want to jump it up at least 50 to 100%. I'd like to double that. So those are the recommendations we'd like to make, and I provided a contract for next year, which is the same contract as this year, except for that additional request for funding.
Okay.
What questions do you guys have?
Any questions? Squire Gorman?
So we've been going for basically a year to get 32,550 visitors to our website, is that correct?
Yes, 8 months since we launched the site. Yep, yes, sir. Yeah, the first 2 months we're basically building it all, building everything out.
I'm just curious about what's our strategy for, you mentioned about 115 companies. It seems like we should have a lot more than that, because every company you go to, their number one thing is employee, either retention or getting people to apply, or having an open job and having 2 people apply when they used to have 300. So how are we, and some of that I believe has to be face-to-face, and so what's our strategy for getting more than 115 businesses on there?
Yeah, and some of that initially was through the Chamber of Commerce. They were a big help in trying to recruit some of those initial employers. The Employer Summit would be good, I think, because we're not only saying, hey, sign up for this program, because that's a task we're giving them to do.
Right.
Although it may be, 60 seconds to sign up on the website. I think the Employer Summit's going to be key, because we can get them in a room and show them 5 or 6 tools they can use to hire. It feels more like a packet, more like a concise program.
Yeah.
And then, individual outreach. So partnership with the chamber in order to go out and when they're making contact with businesses about various things, every time there needs to be a mention of this program.
Right.
So that's a great point.
Yes, sir. Squire Cummings.
I have a couple. First of all, I don't see a contract. Do y'all have a packet? There's nothing in my packet with,
The other is,
where's it at, in here somewhere? I just don't see it on the agenda either. I'm sorry, maybe I missed it.
it should be number 3 or 4 down.
Okay, you find it real quick then. There it is, found it, never mind, thank you. I guess the question is who else is participating in this funding besides Warren County Fiscal Court?
The city of Bowling Green. So this venture, since its inception, has been a 50-50 partnership between the city and county. So they've been good partners as well. Mr. Jeff Meisel is also on that workforce task force with us. So he has a voice in what happens. I'll say that too. I mean, this program doesn't just operate independently. We do work with the task force to get direction on various things. That task force includes Judge Buchanan, Mr. Gorman. It includes superintendents. It includes the president of Western. It includes various people throughout the community, including the chamber. Chamber has a few people on it, the workforce board. So
Sky CTC.
Sky CTC, exactly. So we have a pretty good sampling of leadership in the community that not only helps us form the campaign, but also informs us on things that we may not otherwise have known about. So that's been very, very critical to have a guide in that way.
So
We're an agency, and typically we have a relationship with a client which has a contact that communicates with us. In this instance, that task force is our client. They give us direction.
So this figure of $400,000 is split evenly. We're paying half, and the city would pay half. Is that what
Yes,
I'm
sir.
understanding?
Yes, sir.
To be?
Yeah. So really, that total number, only half of that is what the county would be responsible for. That's correct.
I'm just going to do a quick math just to.
Yeah.
And I know it's something we have to do. I mean, it's, we have to continue to look for
Yeah.
employment issues, because that's going to be the issue we challenge as we move forward the next 4 to 10 years, is having people to work. And I just start looking, I mean, I just like to see the result. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, results aren't there yet, but I guess
Yeah.
we're still only 8 months into the deal.
Right, only 8 months in, and then again, it's just continuing to throw fuel on the fire. So, I think I think to really, this won't be the silver bullet, and I think I've said that before in here. It won't be the one thing that fixes. If this was the thing, then we would have the solution for the nation's unemployment problem. But it is one arrow in the quiver that we can use to try to solve it. I think the Workforce Board is doing a fantastic job of educating the workforce. They're holding hiring events and things like that. So they're kind of boots on the ground, and we're more campaign oriented. We're more, targeting specific groups for them to drive people to them.
Being the industry that I'm in, I can tell you, internet marketing, online stuff is 10 times more effective than any print stuff we do, and
Yeah.
maybe we should shift even more of our money toward that measured results of what we're getting on those things versus, I know you gotta do a little bit of everything, but it's
Right.
still important to, in my opinion, focus more money in those factors that will show results, and it's something a little more measured than what we get on print media.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And we've continued to shift more into digital as we ran this campaign. We started out kind of a pretty easy blend of traditional and digital, but that's quickly shifted to digital because that's where we can really show numbers, like you said.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? One of the things that, of course, he's mentioned the workforce participation group, but the Workforce Board is also very engaged, and you all have contributed toward the international foreign-born personnel that they've added. Anna, I can't pronounce her last name, but Anna is doing a good job working with the international population. And then, of course, Mike at Fort Campbell is really, I think these two areas are two areas that I believe we're going to capitalize on in the near future, and hopefully over the first year or so, you're going to see a great deal more activity coming out of those people who are leaving the military each month. I think Fort Campbell, they have 450 military leaving there every single month. And then half of those have spouses. So you're having approximately 600 potential employees for our workforce region just coming out of Fort Campbell. And our representative there for Bowling Green, Warren County, and South Central Kentucky is stationed right there on site. And I believe we're going to get a lot more productivity out of them. We've been working with the Builders Association, and those of you who have not thought this through, I think all of you all have, but the builders are an important part of solving this problem as well. And that part of the reason, if we have 8,000 open jobs right here, right now, we don't have 8,000 housing units for them to move into, or 4,000, or 1,000 even. So we're building at roughly 1,500 a year, 1,500 a year, and we need 3,000 or more a year being built here. And right now, we could use, after the tornado and all that, we could use 3,000 more this year. I know that Ben, hopefully, will expand on that when we talk a little bit later in the meeting, but we've approved a great many, but they're not built yet. So getting them built is important, but we're in a bit of a conundrum in that we don't have the construction group, the individuals here who work as subs. We don't have enough of them to build the homes that we need, and we don't have the housing to put them in if we could get all of them here. So we're working both those angles very strong, very hard, and trying to solve that problem. And I believe we will do that in the near future. But we really do need to thank WKU and the school systems and SkyCTC, because they have really stepped up and are helping us a great deal now. And I believe we're going to be able to retain a great many more of their students than we ever have. SkyCTC is aggressively training people as fast as we can bring them in. But the fact of the matter is, we just don't have enough people here yet for them to train. So we're working, and what Jason and Crowd South are doing is trying to attract and recruit those people from outside this region as well. And although this is a significant amount of money to put toward this, I believe that we need to double down and really work this angle, this part of the strategy, harder than ever, so that we can have more people here for SkyCTC and the school system and WKU to train for us.
Has this been presented to the city yet? Have you made your presentation?
No.
No.
No, but they have it to approve. So I hope, I won't be here, but I am going to remain active in workforce development. And I hope that when budget time comes around, you all will up this even more if you see the successes between now and then. You have a few months before that takes place, and I hope that you're going to see that this is a good investment, a great investment for attracting people to Bowling Green, Warren County, and South Central Kentucky. So I'm hoping that you'll visit this again in just a few months on this court and the city commission, because I believe with the activity that the last few announcements have created, we're going to have a growing need for workforce in this area for some time to come.
Yeah, thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Jason.
Any other questions for me that I can answer? And if you think of anything past the meeting, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the hard work. Let me also say, in that workforce participation group, Jason shows up at every meeting, and he's engaged in developing the work plan each and every meeting. If you don't mind, if there are no objections, I'm going to move on down to item number 7 on the agenda at this point, which is to approve the update on workforce outreach program and the contract renewal for Crowd South, and grant Judge executive authority to sign. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions?
One question, Greg, I assume we have this in our budget and got it covered in our budget.
It's not currently in there, but we'll do a budget transfer to cover it.
Are we okay to do this?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We need to approve the work schedule for the Warren County Road Department. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion, questions?
Judge, let me just say, he's not really totally new, but Billy Joe Simmons has been fantastic to work with. Generally, he never misses my phone call. If he does, he calls me back, or I might miss his. But anyway, he's just been fantastic. And the roads, the right-of-ways are, never seen them mowed as good as you all have mowed them. They have just done wonderful. And thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah. Billy Joe, I appreciate you being here today. I get the same reports from the other magistrates on a regular basis. Everyone is extraordinarily happy with your performance as road supervisor over the last couple of years, and we're very happy to have you with us. And I see you're hiding Mr. Moore back here. He's a good person for you to work with, and I'm glad he's been engaged with you and helping you. You're going to have a great place to work from in the near future. The new building is coming along great. I stopped by there again a couple of days ago, and it looks like it's going to be on time. Yeah, my fingers are crossed too. Okay. All righty.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, item number 6 is to approve personnel changes in Warren County. Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter. Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes,
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 8 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2161 establishing South Oak Street, Acorn Court, Cloverfield Court, Black Walnut Court, Shady Oak Court, Shad Bush Way, and White Ash Street located in South Oak subdivision as county roads and authorizing maintenance thereon and setting speed limits thereon.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings. Second. Squire Gorman, discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 9 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2262 rezoning property located at 2185 Garrett Hall Road from agriculture to residential estate containing approximately .19 acres and presently initiated by the City County Planning Commission in order to correct the split zoning on the property. Motion by Squire Young. Second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 10 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2263 rezoning property located at 4557 Petros Road from agriculture to residential estate containing approximately .40 acres plus or minus and presently initiated by the City County Planning Commission in order to correct split zoning of the property. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes,
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 11 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2264, rezoning property located at 0 and 2841 Austin Raymer Road from agriculture to residential estate and residential estate to agriculture containing approximately .14 acres plus and minus and presently initiated by the City County Planning Commission in order to correct the split zoning of the property. Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter. Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 12 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2265, rezoning property located at 116 Rhodes Land from agriculture to residential estate containing approximately .33 acres plus or minus and presently initiated by the City County Planning Commission in order to correct the split zoning of the property. Motion by Squire Cummings. Second by Squire Payne. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 13 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2266, rezoning property located at 368 and 410 Old Deering Road from residential estate to agriculture, from agriculture to residential estate, containing approximately .45 acres, plus or minus, and presently initiated by the City County Planning Commission in order to correct the split zoning of the property.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 14 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2267, rezoning property located at 0 and 181 The Trace Drive from residential estate to agriculture, and from agriculture to residential estate, containing approximately .14 acres plus or minus, and presently owned as presently initiated by the City County Planning Commission in order to correct the split zoning on the property. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 15 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2271, budget amendment for Warren County. Motion by Squire Payne, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes,
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 16 is to approve the South Central Kentucky Crime Stoppers Board Annual Report for 21-22. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Young. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter. Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 17 is to grant authority for the Warren County Jailer to sign a 4-year contract with Sakaris Technologies for inmate communications.
Motion. So moved.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions?
Judge, I just want to congratulate Jailer Harmon. This is a fantastic deal for us, if there is such a thing, but by being able to do this, be able to upgrade the technology at the jail, and he negotiated a great contract with Securus. 2 people replied, and he was able to even get a lower amount, but plus more money for the county for the upgrades to the jail, so a great job by Jailer Harmon. And I'm happy to say it, I know he's on here, but I'm happy to say it because he's not in the room.
Congratulations, Jailer Harmon. Great job.
Yeah, I'll echo that. He's almost reaching Tommy Loving status on his negotiating skills.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but this is a pretty good deal. Appreciate it, Stephen.
Esquire
Caller.
McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 18, approve emergency determination in the amount of $9,800 to Bluegrass Insulating Services for repair and rebuilding the duct number 1 for the HVAC unit at Buchanan Gym.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 19 is to approve lease agreement for a 2022 Ford F-350 utility truck with Crane Enterprise Fleet Management, to Enterprise Fleet Management, in an amount not to exceed $1,849.92 per month for 60 months for the Warren County Road Department. This is replacing 2001 Chevrolet 3500.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Young. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 20 is to approve service agreement between Living Hope Baptist Church and Warren County Parks Department for the 22-23 youth football season.
Basketball.
Basketball.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Gorman. Now, do you have anything to add to that, Mr. Comer?
This is Jackie Stewart. Jackie is the Recreation Center Director for Living Hope Baptist Church, as well as many other things. As you all know, Living Hope Baptist Church has been our home for our primary Little Hoopsters program, Girls Division I basketball program for the last several years. Without their continued support, we would struggle, even with using elementary schools within the county school system, to be able to provide that service. So that gives about approximately 50 teams a home to play on Saturdays from December through March, and we are completely blessed and honored that Jackie, Mr. Pettis, Mark over at Living Hope allow us in there, and we just want to say thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Jackie, we do appreciate it, and Chris, of course, is saying we would struggle without your all's participation. I'm not sure we could do it without your participation. We really do appreciate it. We've grown our space, we've grown venues, but our programming has grown faster. So I'm not sure we could do it at all without your all's participation. We very much appreciate it, and that's a nice facility.
Judge, I'd like to also add that they do allow us to have our vote center there as well. We couldn't do it without that early voting and everything that they allow us to do as well. So thank you all for that.
And we appreciate the use of it for football as well. I heard the judge say.
Arena football, I like it. That's going to be awesome.
Is that arena football?
You know, I'm getting close to the last meeting where I can say most anything I want to, so go ahead. Go ahead and keep it up.
No one's going to notice the difference there, Judge.
But I will say that this year, we've had over 600 pre-registrations for our basketball program. That's the first time in over 10 years that that's pre-registration, not actual registration. So the largest amount of teams we've ever had was about 182. Each of those teams gets 3 interactions a week. So with the facilities that we have, Fillmore Park, Michael Buchanan, Ephraim White gyms, we are not able to accommodate that. So we rely on partners such as Living Hope, the county school system, and working together, we're able to offer those great programs for the kids and the families of Warren County. So big thanks to Jackie and her team. She's also one of our newer advisory council members for the Warren County Parks and Recreation Department Advisory Council.
That's great.
We're blessed to have her on there too. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank Jason and Mark and everyone. Living Hope, of course, is an amazing church, and we appreciate all of their participation throughout the county, and they're important not only for providing gym space, but for providing a great deal more throughout our community. They're a big part of our community. Thank you all. We have a motion and a second.
We do. Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And just so you all know, like I tell my wife all the time, pay more attention to what I meant to say and less about what I actually said. Okay?
Gotcha.
All right. Item number 21 is to approve budget transfers for Warren County. Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Payne. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 22 is to approve the September 22nd, or September 2022 Treasurer's Report. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Young. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 23 is to approve interfund transfers for Warren County. Motion by Squire Young. Second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes,
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 24 is to approve Resolution 2232, an agreement between the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Department of Rural and Municipal Aid, and Warren County for the bituminous resurfacing of Claypool Boyce Road, County Road 1166, and Woody Atkinson Road, County Road 1253, for flex funds in the amount of not to exceed $276,695.
Big motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second.
I hate to, Bill.
All right,
We
second,
got all the money last year. so
second by
it's
Squire
not
Young.
fair.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Yeah, it should be, I need to remind you that you did get all the funding last year. All right.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 25 is to approve county TIF payment to Warren County Downtown Economic Development Authority in the amount of $65,075. This is the increment county property tax amount in the TIF district.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter. Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And now will the treasurer please present the claims to the court?
General Fund, $1,964,260. Road Fund, $73,497. Jail Fund, $450,621. Stormwater Fund, $27,825. And E911 Fund, $13,916. Be able to answer any questions.
Make a motion we pay the claims as submitted.
Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire McWhorter to pay claims as submitted. Any discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter. Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Sheriff Hightower,
Thank you, Judge.
everything going well?
Very well,
Good, good.
How's tax collection going?
very well. We expect, we should be at 50% by the end of the month. So we've got a lot of the running.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
No shave, no fun.
Woke a sleeping bear.
Woke a sleeping bear. I was over there just relaxing.
You need,
Where are you going now?
Yeah, I thought y'all wanted an update on the DJ coming to Western today, but that's all right. DJ Diesel. But no, the taxes are going well. We've gotten, once again, another year of increased online payments from that, which really helps. But we hope we should be about 50% to 80% probably closer to 80% by the end of this month. A lot of those folks take advantage of that 2%, and then over the next month or so, we'll get the other 20%. Good news is we usually set about 98 and 90, about 99 something percent at the end of collection. So we did get the cancellation on 4 of those Explorers when we came back and we asked to buy the Tahoes, but we actually got the official that they're not going to ever produce those other 4 Ford Explorers as well. So we've gotten a really good return on what we have sent to Enterprise on the sales. So that's good with the market.
I will brag on you. I went down and paid my taxes this morning and took advantage of the 2%, and they're very efficient. The new system works incredibly well. And as much as I hate to pay taxes, it was something that was quick and easy, and just want to make sure to remind people you have till November 1st to pay your taxes and get a 2% discount.
That'll be in there or postmarked by November 1st. Anything after that, you pay face value up till the end of December as well. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Could be serious. Amy talking to him. I like your anticipation.
Go ahead, we're listening.
She's ready, Freddie now.
Maybe something. I mean,
She knows she comes right after the sheriff, so she.
They're not listening, we're listening.
But we want everyone to listen.
Ain't nobody even call for you to get.
Or you want to do it like that?
You tell me.
Oh, you look that over. Ms. Yates,
Good morning.
good morning.
How is everybody?
Good.
Wanted to let everyone know that Tuesday, the 25th, is the last day to request a mail-in absentee ballot. If you qualify, you can go to our website, warren.countyclerk.us, to request that. If you have any problems with that or you need further assistance, you can call our office, 270-843-5306. That's our voter department. Currently, we've had approximately 2,000 ballots requested so far, but Tuesday is the deadline. So I think it's at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Okay.
And then we will start early in-person voting, and you actually have to qualify for that as well for 6 days in our office.
What are those dates?
26th, 27th, 28th, 31st, 1st, and 2nd. Then we start early voting in person at all of our 5 locations, which is on our website as well, or we've had media everywhere on it. So you'll have those 5 locations, which is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. No voting at all on Monday, the 7th. And then, of course, Election Day will be 6 to 6 at our 8 locations.
And
Okay.
early voting hours are 8 to 4?
8 to 4:30.
8 to 4:30.
And just for people watching, name those 5 locations.
Those 5 locations are Sugar Maple Square, Buchanan Park, Ephraim White Park, Fillmore Park, and Living Hope Church.
And you don't have to have any kind of a.
You can go anywhere, anybody can go anywhere at those locations, no matter where your precinct is. Precinct level now is actually for us to track and for you to know, us to know your ballot. But as far as you can vote anywhere, you don't have to vote any specific place. Any of those locations you can vote.
Okay, so for those people who are going to either be in the hospital or out of town or something on Election Day,
Yes,
you have early in-person.
in-person voting in our office.
In the office here in the county
8 to
courthouse.
4:30.
8 to 4:30, and that's the 26th, 27th, 28th.
Yes,
And
31st,
1st and 2nd. Okay, and that's all of the But you need to sign something saying you're going to be.
Yes, we'll have you complete something in our office.
But that's here in the courthouse on
Yes.
those dates. And
Yes.
then you have the early voting on which dates again?
Early in-person voting.
Which anybody can go do.
Anybody can go do.
Without an excuse.
Is the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Okay.
8 to 4:30 at any of those 5 locations that we have.
And they do not, they don't have to worry about what precinct they're
No.
registered in.
No, anywhere you wanna go.
They can vote at any of these, and all they have to do is bring their license. You'll scan the back of their license, and
Yes.
and it will put in what precinct they go to.
119 ballots, which is what we have for Warren County, different ballot faces.
It'll bring up the right ballot
We
for
have
you.
them at every location.
Okay.
So, yes, you can
Okay.
go anywhere you want to go to vote.
Because I always get a ton of calls saying, I don't know where I'm supposed to vote.
And if
Yes.
somebody was to vote early, they wouldn't be allowed to vote on the election day, is that
No,
correct?
everything is, any kind of the absentee ballots, when we scan that ballot back in, that voter is ineligible to vote any other
So
way.
you won't have
And-
redundancy of votes.
Exactly, and even if, and we get this question a lot, because people say, okay, what's to keep me from going to Living Hope and voting, and then me go over to Ephraim White and vote?
'Cause it's on the same
Once you've
computer
checked in, we know that system updates every 30 seconds. It
So if you can
uploads
make it-
that
if that-
voter's information. We know automatically that that voter has been here and cannot go here. So, it's a, well, I mean, it's a foolproof system as far as we're concerned. Anything else regarding elections?
Just ask you, I need to ask you one question.
Okay.
This has to do with our next meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for the 4th, and I'd like to change it to the 1st. So just because you're voting here doesn't mean we can't
No,
be. Okay.
that wouldn't have anything to
Okay,
do with
you
that
don't-
part of
You
it.
don't need this room
No.
for that, okay,
No, we won't need that.
okay.
We should be good. And
Are we
if,
still planning on changing the meeting, or are we gonna leave it at the 4th?
Yeah, but I'm going to ask you all for a vote on that afterwards. I just wanted to make sure that everything okay on that.
if we were doing the absentees, depending on how many, with what we have right now, there would be no reason for us to
We
get
wouldn't
ahead
wanna
like
do it
we
on
had
election
in
day.
2020. Yeah, we're not going to have it set up like we did then. It's
Okay.
not with no more than that. We can handle that very easily.
Okay. Okay, any other
All right.
questions for Ms. Yates? Because she's going to be too busy to answer any questions over the next,
May not be here on the 1st.
yeah, that's okay. That's all right.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, before we move on to Mr. Harmon next, before we move on, let me go ahead and Tuesday, actually Friday, November 4th, we would like to get a motion to change that meeting, that regular scheduled meeting, to the 1st at 9 o'clock here. November 1st, which is a Tuesday, and then the 11/18 meeting, that's on the same date as the CAECO meeting in Louisville or Lexington, wherever it is. So we'd like to change that to the 14th. Does that suit everyone? Okay, so can I get a motion to change the regularly scheduled meeting from 11/4 to, pardon me?
Tony has Tony needs
I won't
Yeah.
be here the 1st.
Okay, okay. Is there another date that would work better for you? The 2nd is something else going on that day.
Well, it's the veterans groundbreaking.
Oh, yeah.
But we could do it before. I think it's at 11:30.
Can you be there on the 2nd? Okay, let me see.
We could start at 8 or 8.
What time is the veterans?
11:30.
11:30.
Okay, okay. Okay. Can I get a motion to change the November 4th regular scheduled meeting to November 2nd instead at 9 o'clock? I think that, and then the November 18th to change it to Monday, let me see, that'd be Wednesday, excuse me, going back to the 4th, change that regular scheduled meeting to November 2nd, which is a Wednesday at 9 o'clock. And then the November 18th, change it to November 14th,
Which is a Monday.
which is a Monday. Does that work for all y'all? Doesn't work?
Do I have to be here? I'm out of town the entire week, but it's
Yeah,
fine.
he wasn't gonna be here.
Ah,
It's fine.
okay. All right. So I have a motion to change those two dates from the
So moved.
4th to the 2nd and the 11th, the 18th to the 14th, 9 o'clock.
And both those dates are at 9 o'clock.
At both those dates at 9 o'clock. Satisfactory with everyone?
Yes.
We have a motion and a second.
Who made the second?
Square coming.
Okay.
Okay. Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The dates are hereby changed. Jailer Harmon, how are you?
Good, Judge. Appreciate the remarks on the contract. This was one of the best ones that we've had since I've been here, and maybe historically, for the amount of capital improvement money that they're going to give us each year. I'll have a report next for the previous capital improvement grant funds that we've used and what projects and equipment and things we've funded inside of our operation. And we didn't have to ask the court to help with it. So I'll have a report on that next meeting. This 4-year contract, that there'll be $300,000 each year that will go towards improvements here facility-wide, and also in reentry and equipment that we use here to help keep the inmates and the staff safe. So I'll look forward to a report next meeting on that. And I also want to give a shout out to my staff. We're 15 deputies short, and we've been working 6 days, and sometimes long days within those 6 days, and had multiple people in the hospital. In the midst of all of that, we were able to celebrate 15 inmates that graduated last week. 14 of those were GED graduates, and one was an into work, part of our food industry training program here in the jail. So kudos to all of the staff for all their hard work on that, and I'll look forward to bringing you those reports next meeting.
Great job. Thank you, Stephen. Mr. Comer.
Just want to share some good news, Judge, and we'll bring the whole team when it's a done deal in January. But we just received word last week that we, the community, the tennis community, we received the USTA, United States Tennis Association Facility of the Year Award for the Michael Buchanan Park Tennis Facility for the Kentucky chapter. And so huge thanks to Nate Harlan, Martina Fee, the entire tennis community for making that facility so successful, and it's going great. And a great thanks to our staff, our park staff there, and all throughout the park system. As Stephen just mentioned, it's unbelievable what they're doing. So that's the good news, and thank you for supporting Living Hope and our basketball programs.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations, and congratulations on, I understand there's upcoming award for Chris Comer. I don't know if I'm supposed to,
Well, you already said it now, so go ahead.
It's okay? Okay. Well, Chris Comer is on November 2nd, I believe. It's going to be awarded the Kentucky Recreation and Park Society Fellow Award for 2022. Now, this is an important thing. Chris Comer, of course, we all know, admire, and respect Chris because he does a great job here. But the thing is, all across the state, people know, admire, and respect Chris Comer. All of the parks professionals think of him as the parks professional, and he truly is. He's been here for a number of years, and he's shown great leadership. He's instructed, directed, met with, mentored so many different employees, and he provides recreational opportunities for thousands of kids. We are, I'd say we've grown well over 1,200% over the last several years. 12 times as many people are participating in youth sports or in group sports. That's phenomenal. That's great for our law enforcement, because kids don't get really bored and look for things to do that sometimes are outside the scope of the law. It's great for our jail population, and that we don't have as many people breaking laws and put in jail. It's great for our high schools. All of our high schools are excelling in every sport because of the youth sports that are provided in our Parks Department. So much of this is because Phil Moore, Chris Comer, and the staff that they've tutored, mentored, and brought along, and the community involvement of all of the parents and family members.
Where's this award going to be given at?
It's in Corbin, Kentucky. Corbin, Kentucky, and I believe it's at 6 o'clock. Those of you who can go, I'll be glad to give you a ride. I plan on being there, and I hope that those of you who can. I'm really excited about it, and I'm excited because I believe Chris deserves it and deserves a great deal more notoriety. And well, congratulations, Chris. We're proud of you. And I look forward to seeing the award at the next meeting. Is he really?
Oh, good. That's good.
Great, great. Look forward to seeing Biff too. All righty. Mr. Moore.
Judge, I'm going to be brief, but I've learned that if we have a short agenda, all the department heads are going to get up and talk.
Oh, good, good.
I figured I'd take advantage of it real quick. Just want to echo the praise for Billy Joe and the road department. You know, we're 14 down from our peak number, and I hope everybody sees that we're doing all that we can to keep the same service and level of service that we've always done. It has been difficult, but the guys and gals are doing great, and we've got a really good bunch down there right now. Also want to thank you all again for all your help in approving the new road facility. It's definitely going to be a good home for the next 20, 30 years. I really do think it is. And thank Greg for helping. It might be 60 or 80. But thank Greg too for helping. There's been a lot of pieces that go into doing this, and we're in the home stretch, and we're all excited about it. So we'll set up a good ribbon cutting and open house for that once we get done. But just want to thank you guys again for that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Josh. Great job. Billy Joe, thank you.
Let me say this too, Josh is awesome to work with. Mm-hmm. Never miss a phone call from him, or he doesn't miss, I call him a lot.
You talking about Josh Moore?
Yeah, the guy he's fantastic. We have a fantastic crew everywhere.
I agree with you. I'm very, very proud of all of our employees, but particularly the leadership in all of our departments. just don't want to say too much good about Josh because I've got to keep him from taking over. He's a great leader, and he's done a great deal for all of our departments as Public Works Director, and I know that all of the department heads are thankful for his leadership as well. Holly's not here, is she?
Thank you, Judge.
All right, you're on here. Okay, well, good. Good to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you for being on. Mr. Pearson's not here. Mr. Puckett. Mr. Loving is not here. Miss Lewis. Susan Lewis, PBA, how are you?
She just snuck in. Yeah.
Very timely. I just wanted to tell everyone there will be a prayer at Greenwood Park on the 7th at 7 p.m. Everyone is invited, or local officials are invited. Okay,
On what
that is
day?
all. Everything else is
What's the
wonderful.
date?
7th at 7.
7th at 7. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Everything else is good. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson, glad you could be with us today, and I'm encouraged by some of the numbers, and maybe they've improved even more since I talked to you last.
Thank you, Judge. As a lot of different themes talked about today, and centers around the growth. We've talked about the housing and transportation and parks and just general services. And as we grow, obviously all those things, those challenges we seek are going to get bigger and bigger. And you kind of asked me to speak about housing a little bit. So through the Planning Commission, just from January of this year through September, we've approved approximately 3,500 housing units. That's way more than usual. Our previous year is 2017, and I don't have those exact numbers yet, but just know that 2017 was our previous highest year of activity, and we're going to blow that away this year. I mean, this is by far going to be the highest level of activity.
As far as the numbers that have been approved.
That's numbers that's been approved, and that's not what's being constructed. We're going to get together a group and do some follow-up with our permitting agencies, County Public Works and City Neighborhood Community Services, and try to narrow down what's actually being constructed and start tracking those numbers a little closely. We've kind of just done it on a higher level to this point.
Right.
We do know through some of our conversations we've had with our builders and our permitting agencies that we only build about 1,200 to maybe 1,500 housing units a year. So this year we're expecting to approve somewhere in the range of 4,000 to 5,000 housing units. It's a huge number. And we're going to need those numbers. One thing we're starting to talk about is kind of BE, before Envision, and then after Envision, and that's going to be a huge thing. And that doesn't include Tyson and OI Glass and all these other companies that are going to start hiring. So workforce, as you mentioned, the workforce is going to have places to live, so we're going to have to figure out how to build these houses and how to get those going. Building supply chain is huge still right now. Talk to builders from the smallest builder to the largest builders. And just a single family home is taking approximately 6 to 9 months longer to complete. And that doesn't include the subdivision constraints as well, the construction of the roads and the pipes and everything that goes with it. So we're going to have to continue to monitor that and figure out ways to continue to get that construction going. And with that, just heard again yesterday that there's some subdivisions setting out there. Home builders they can't even get parts to put meters in, water meters and electric meters, and that's the ones that on the side of the house. Doesn't include the transformers that we're having problems with, which WRACC and BGMU are talking 2-year lead times now to get some of the things we need. So we're continuing to try to work together to help get this stuff built. I don't believe our economy will slow down, even if the rest of the country does. I think we'll continue to do well here, but we're still going to have to work together, everybody, and we have been and will continue to. It's a community problem, a community issue, community challenge, I guess is probably a better term, and we all need to continue to work together to figure out how to get these houses built and these factories built and get people in those. So that's really all I've got.
Well, that's plenty to think about.
I have a question, if I might.
Yes, sir.
Of that 3,500, you said, it's curious to split a multifamily versus single family.
Yeah, so it's roughly, and this is just general numbers, we're going to get together a place where people can go to see the actual numbers, but about 2,000 single-family homes and about 1,500 apartments, which is usually shifts from year to year. It's usually 60-40 and then next year it'll shift 60-40, and it goes with construction cycles. It's just hard to predict right now with all the building supply chain issues, so when things will actually be able to be completed and be ready for people to move in.
Thanks.
Ben, do you ever do comparisons, to other counties statewide as far as the amount of growth that we're doing compared to other places and how we're actually performing in comparison?
Generally, we're so busy with our own selves, it's hard to look, but yeah, we definitely do, and we monitor statistics, especially in other parts of the state and the nation. Generally, we are doing way better than everybody else. I mean, that's about the only way you can sum it up. Just for example, the Kentucky State Data Center just released their latest projections a couple of months ago, and no one in Kentucky is expected to get more people through 2050 than Warren County, except Lexington, Fayette County. So we're growing faster than pretty much any other community.
There are some counties out there that have got zero growth or negative growth. Is that correct?
Correct. I think most of them really. If you go the I-65 corridors doing really well, you get one or two counties past that.
So for anybody that really didn't want to see growth, there's plenty of them places they can go move and not see something, right?
Yeah, that would be one way to look at it, yes.
Thanks for
So you take all perspectives, right, Judge?
All right, that's right. That's right. Any other questions for Mr. Peterson?
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
You bet.
Appreciate you. Mr. Markham is not here today.
He's online.
He's online.
I see his name up there.
Oh, James Markham, are you there? Oh, you're just,
Teasing us.
he's just on, and he's out running around, but he's making us think that he's on.
Okay.
James, are you on here, buddy? No, I'm sure he just stepped away. Mr. Reagan, how are you today?
Couldn't be better.
Everything good?
Everything seems to be good. We are getting fewer calls this week especially. I think I had one yesterday, a couple of emails. People still adjusting to the changes. Driving around quite a bit in the city, I see a lot cleaner areas. There's still a lot of work to do, things that keep being adjusted, some things that our providers find out that they didn't understand or didn't know. And it's getting better. I don't think this is anywhere near as bad as it was when Rumpke took over from Republic or Monarch back in 2000.
Right.
It stayed for 2 years. I think we're in a lot better shape now. As far as the county, we are getting no complaints whatsoever. We actually having a little bit of this and that questions. We're getting more questions right now about household hazardous waste day on the 29th.
Yeah, and that was the next thing I was going to ask about, but Household Hazardous Waste Day is October 29th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. At Lauren Avery Drive off of 31W North. So I really, it's kind of one of those things that you want everybody to know it, but it's always more than we can handle. It's incredible response to that every year. But it only comes around ever so often, so if you actually have any household hazardous waste, that's the day to get rid of it environmentally, in an environmentally sound way. So we appreciate everyone's participation. Thank you all for y'all's hard work, and Nikki's and everybody else. Billy Joe, do you have anything you wanted to share while you're here?
I just thank you for all that y'all do and your support. I do want to put a shout out to my staff. Our numbers are down, and they're really working well together and splitting them up, doing what we're going to do, and marching on others. Thank you.
Your staff does an incredible job, and they really do have worked hard under a lot of pressure and with short numbers. But it shows. All righty. Look at there. Squire Carrier, how are you, sir? Glad to see you. Thanks for stopping in and seeing us. Okay. Ms. Milliken, you have anything?
No, thank you, Judge.
Mr. Burrow?
Thank you, Judge.
Still dating the same girl?
Ms. Hale?
Thank you, Judge.
You still dating the same girl?
Judge Smith?
Thank you, Judge.
All right, now I'm going to go to Squire Payne.
Judge, I'd just like to congratulate Greenwood High's football team. They beat South Warren last night. It was a big win for them. Nothing against South Warren, but that was a great win for Greenwood. And also Warren East beat Franklin Simpson last night.
That's great.
That was a big win for them.
They're undefeated still.
And
Go Raiders.
Go Raiders, right.
And I would like to commend the state of Kentucky. I called yesterday. I came down the other day and got my paperwork from Greg for my retirement. Made a phone call up to Frankfurt and told the lady I would like to come up here and make an appointment. She said, well, I'm going to try to discourage you from doing that. She said, I will, if I send you the papers, she said, I'll help you go through every page. And I said, well, I've got my papers. She said, well, it won't take us 5 minutes to do this. I did it. We faxed it to her yesterday. She said to call back and make sure that they got it. We called back, the gentleman I talked to. He went through everything we did in 5 minutes. It's done.
That's incredible.
I mean, it was, I was shocked.
So we can call you whenever we ever think about retirement. We can call you and you can help us through that
Borrow
process.
money off of
Sounds to me like.
Okay.
I just want to borrow some money from
Said we might to borrow some money off of it.
Yeah, right.
Squire Lawrence?
Thank you, Judge.
Squire Gorman?
Judge, just want to say it's good to see Darrell Carrier in here. It's a travesty, and I'm serious about this, that he is not in the Basketball Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest, easily the greatest player from this county, but he's one of the greatest shooters in the history of the game, and truly remarkable career. I always love to be with Darrell. He's a fantastic individual. Thanks for coming out today. One thing to highlight on what Ben was talking about, I had a meeting yesterday at the Realtor Association, and their executive director, Jim DeMille, told me that September was the all-time high in units sold and dollar volume sold in the history of Warren County in September.
In September?
Yes, and so...
After the interest rates have gone up.
Correct. And so, again, I think one thing that we should all be very thankful for, we have a diverse economy, and a diverse economy is what keeps a community from feeling the full effects of a recession and the full effects of interest rates and the full effects of all the other things that are going on with gas and everything else and inflation in our lives right now. So while, yes, things might cost more, by not having all of our eggs in one basket, it makes it a lot easier. And so that's another reason why Warren County continues to grow. So I'm happy about that, and that's why I mentioned that. So
I agree. Thank you, Squire Gorman.
thank you.
Squire Cummings.
Thank you, Judge. Want to first of all, congratulations to Doug, and made it through getting Christina married. And the over/under on crying was 38 seconds, and he was the over. So thank you for holding together for at least 38 seconds. So, but it was great. Congratulations to her and moving forward. I want to mention the Veterans Day Parade is coming up, Saturday, November the 5th at 9 o'clock. So hopefully the public will come out and support that. It's always one of the best things we do is the Veterans Day Parade here in Warren County. And the last thing is just to encourage people to get out and vote. Doesn't matter who you vote for, is just get out and vote. That's the most important right that we've been granted as citizens of this great country, that we need to get out and vote and participate in that thing. And I just want to encourage people to get out there and make their vote count. So, thank you.
Thank you. Squire Young.
Thank you, Judge. Reminder to everyone, November the 5th, the Anna Community Center annual Thanksgiving Day dinner and auction. They start feeding, I think, at 4 o'clock that afternoon. This will be the first one we've been able to have for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So hopefully a big crowd to help support that.
They always have a great crowd, and they always have the best cakes and pies.
And the best auctioneer.
Yeah, well, they have a better one this year?
I don't think he hadn't been born yet. Encourage everyone to come out to that. And I've been sitting there thinking how to say this, but we just voted on almost $300,000 blacktopping. Everybody knows this is election year. To the credit of this court and those two gentlemen back there, Ron has no opposition.
I'm grateful.
And I'm serious about it. This is just to show everyone out there, this is not political. Our road resurfacing program is based on the worst first. The worst roads get blacktop before politics. And that's the way we have to do things, to keep everything moving. If we had an unlimited budget for resurfacing, yeah, when people call you, Mark, you gonna blacktop my road if I vote for you? But you can't do that. We don't have that kind of money, and the only way you're gonna do that is to rebudget, get some more money in our road fund to help with those kind of things. But this court, and I have, the last 8 years, I'm proud to say that it's not partisan. We do what's best for Warren County, and that's one reason that Ben can stand up here and make the statement he did. Makes no difference what the rest of the country does. Warren County's gonna be all right. I believe that. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. And you're right. Most everything that's decided in fiscal court, every one of you represent a different district of the county. And certainly, you advocate for your districts. But the thing I'm so proud of is that all of you understand that what's good for the county is good for your district. But as everyone advocates for the roads in their district every year, you should. Billy Joe, Josh, and others go out and grade all the roads, and they grade them not only on the disposition of the road, but the cars per vehicle mile. How many people are using that road every day? You have two roads that are equally in bad a shape, and one gets 3,000 cars a day and another one gets 200 cars a day. The 3,000 cars a day kind of edges it out a little bit because there are more people using it. But literally, they're all public roads for everyone to drive on. And we try to balance that each year based on need and usage. We look at traffic counts, safety, and the grade of the road. And that's what ultimately gets approved. And in other years, like last year and maybe 2 or 3 of the years recently, your district and Squire McWhorter's district have both gotten a great deal of that. And I've always wondered how you went around me to the state and got a lot of the state road too. No, okay. Well, anyway, you've all had good years, but each time you've had good years in that particular cycle, it's been based on the need and for public safety and public usage. So I'm glad you brought that up, but Billy Joe and Josh do a great job of grading them out and deciding with objective criteria as to which ones need to be resurfaced or widened or whatever the work that's being done. And I appreciate their oversight on that as well. And thank you all. Squire McWhorter?
And I was glad in my district to get the Smiths Grove Scottsville Road. I know it was done from Glasgow Road up to 1297, and I think they're going to do it's State Road 1297 on up probably to the Barron County line, which needs it. And we got Redbird Trail, Dunmoon, Oakland Flat Rock, and I'm missing one. Huh? Oh, come on a circle, my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
And I appreciate those. And I'll be coming to you next year needing some more blacktop. But our roads overall in my district are very good for the most part.
They're all, one of the things, we have a list of which ones are graded for next year and the year after that and so forth. But they all change from the previous year based on based on a number of factors, but particularly how hard the winter is. When you have a lot of freezing and thawing, you're going to have some roads that or if you have flooding, like a lot of them this last year, you're going to have a lot of deterioration that you didn't expect the year before. So they get moved around each year depending on how they've been treated by the weather. But is there any other business to be brought before this body? There being none, we have a motion to adjourn by Squire Lawrence and a second by Squire Payne. All those in favor, please stand up.